Hey people, we're here 2v2, Golgotha Depths, blue team. Ziemniakozerca is a force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. You know the fella. This is a Black Templars elite scheme one with a funny hat. Look at it. Alongside Trunix is a Lord Commissar. Starts off with a refractor shield, also fights in melee combat and has good offense and support, but can also shoot his own fellas in the head. This is the Armageddon Steel Legion with gas masks and all that good stuff. Up against is some chaos. Here is Fear as a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed. Powerful offense and disruption, fights melee in melee combat. Black Legion over here being chased down, and rounding us off, the Great Cornholio is a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander, lots of manipulation and control abilities. Fights in melee combat, but can also shoot stuff from his hands, as you just saw. Up against the force commander, so expect maybe double CSM or some Havocs or something. I prefer double CSM, I think, a bit more mobility and shootiness without having to set up and all that stuff. Definitely expect Havocs though against the Imperial Guard. Help control this Lord Commissar and also just generally give them a hard time. The addition of spotters in elite mod, of course, greatly helps out Imperial Guard in fighting setup teams, especially multiple setup teams, because they have those two abilities that don't share a cooldown. But hey, Catachun's can do a job for you, especially with Lord Commissar support. Cornholio grabs his VP, defends this wreck point. There's some more Doom Bolts. Tickling those tactical marines, using their Kraken and taking out a CSM model there. That was pretty painful. Tactical marines now backing away, trying to escape the wrath of that Chaos Sorcerer. You can shut these guys down early pretty effectively by engaging them with pretty much any melee hero. Here comes the force commander though with some battle cries, I imagine. There it is. Used it a bit early there. Oh, tactical marines run away. What happened to We Shall Know No Fear? I thought he could have kept them in play there with battle cry going off. Got some good damage on the sorcerer, but away they go, nice and safe, back to the HQ. Here's a sentinel, do some decapping annoyance. Double guardsmen with their sergeants. Yep, takes them up to those 9 models, gives them a fella with a chainsword. Don't especially want him to fight stuff in melee though. 2-1 cap for the blue team very early on. Nothing else out the gate so far for Ziemniakozerca. No scouts. So you'd expect straight into assault marines or devs or something. Noise marines in play for Fear. These guys have a sonic blaster doing AoE damage, pretty good damage too. Can also disable ranged attacks and are very good at disabling and blowing up, in fact, enemy structures. Imperial Guard off the field. Now the red Chaos players can take the mid. There is that contested power there, which does add up. Contested powers also on the north and south flanks. You do have this very natural power on this map for both teams, but all the other powers are contested, so very important to hold these natural ones. Chaos Lord is mid with the Combi Flamer, great for picking off low health models such as Guardsmen, racking up the XP for the Chaos Lord. Those guys ate a big stomp and might go down on retreat. No, the Commissar didn't attack him. Commissar did not attack him, goes after the CSM and ties them up pretty effectively. Catachans are in play for Trunix, also some spotters. Fear could punish this with a quick tier 2 and Blood Crusher, but might be hard to be able to do that with Catachans up. They are a big threat. Noise Marines get away without a model loss. Chaos Lord doesn't want to hang around here, I don't think. Stomp is well timed. I thought it was mistimed there, but it did actually catch him. Doesn't knock him over because he's a big fat ass, but did stun him there. 473, 410. 2-1 cap for red team now, but blue will take it back. In fact, might get a triple. Assault Marines for Ziemniakozerca. Looks like he's dropped his scouts to Cornholio and now replaces them. Assault squad is up though. Raptors also up here for Great Cornholio. Could eat a Thunderhammer in tier 2, which opens up the possibility of a heavy vehicle play, because he doesn't have his Power Fist and just spent a decent amount on his Thunderhammer. Sorcerer taking some shots, but will finish the cap. and then back away most likely. Oh, throws out his Doom Bolts first. Didn't do a whole lot. He's actually going into combat here. And now runs away. Okay. There are some garrisons to take up on this map. We'll see if they're used. What is Havoc's up to? Setting up the wrong way is what they're doing from Cornholio. Now they get jumped and stomped and have to run. Raptors versus Assault Marines. Now Assault Marines have more hit points. Raptors have more DPS. I believe the Assault Marines do win that fight though, just head on. But Heretics spoiled the party, and so do Catechins here, with Battlecry buffs for all of this stuff. For those that don't know, that is a 15% buff every time the Force Commander does one of those fancy special attacks for the next 10 seconds, and all of his attacks are fancy special ones when Battlecry goes off, which makes it great for disrupting. And when you're buffing and disrupting, you do a lot of damage. Stuff can't fight back. These guys are in a bad place. Not sure what he's trying to achieve. He needs to get off the field here. There's the Cacophony. Doing some knockback. They'll also knock back friendly units, so you need to be careful with your positioning. But here's a kind of panic button for the Noise Marines. 470, 327. Double cap here for Blue, looking pretty strong in tier 2. Apart from that scout loss, have done well in every engagement pretty much. Oh, there's Raptors out here. They are. These guys suppress when they land, rather than the Assault Squad's disruption. Both have their advantages, of course. I generally would take the disruption, unless you get a bunch of potentially nasty retreat hits on setup teams and stuff. But Raptors do suppress a large area, which can be fantastic against an opponent that's blobbing up a bunch of range stuff. Lord Commissar's in there. Does he have his power sword? Nope. Got a bunch of XP though. There's the jump again. Heretics are there with their aspiring champion, and that guy likes to fight. Makes the Heretics much more of a threat in melee, especially against tier 1 squads. Those Assault Squad guys lucky to get away perhaps with 2 models there. Look at that. Force Commander alongside the Lord Commissar kicking some ass. Lord Commissar is knocked around. These guys do have shotguns. They should get out of that garrison, I think. Havoc's now joining the fight, as are Tactical Marines with those Kraken rounds, doing 20% more damage to heavy infantry, such as those CSM. That was an ability added in Chaos Rising specifically to fight CSM, since CSM will beat them in melee combat. But with Kraken rounds active, makes it much more favoured for Tactical Marines, as long as it's off cooldown, of course. Chaos Lord has the armour of the Inferno. Shoots a bunch of fireballs. I'm not sure where he shoots them from. He kind of just opens his arms and they fly out of his body. But hey, it's Chaos. Catechins with their superbly reliable grenade launcher. Never goes wrong, never bugs out, nothing like that. These guys now running away. Lord Commissar seems super... He's been in the field for a while, hasn't he? Always a great idea to have your commander in the field for a long time. That's why sustainability is so important, and that's why I pretty much always get the healing war gear for my Plague Champion whenever I play one, because it gives you such awesome sustainability. That was an improvised explosive, by the way, if you're wondering what that was that went off. I didn't actually touch the Heretics there. Chaos Lord still level. He's got barely any XP. Hasn't really been fighting the Guardsmen very much. Trunix has kind of kept them to the south, away from the Chaos Lord, which has been smart. I mean, they're pretty cheap to reinforce, but doesn't mean you want to lose them all the time. Heretics dodging a grenade quite nicely. Need a bit of support here, though, it looks like. Not sure why these Tactical Marines are running away. Get stuck into melee with your Sergeant with some scout support, and you will take care of them. Assault Squad now isolated because of that. These guys need to get out of this garrison and fight. Lord Commissar's there. Shield goes up. 8, one of the demonic strength hits though from the Raptors. They do have their aspiring champion saved by the Catechins and their grenade launcher disruption. Such long range and powerful disruption. Covers quite a large area and does a chunk of damage too. It really is a great ability. I hear plasma cannon, oh sorry, blastmaster shots from up here. Pretty good place to put an artillery setup in, it turns out. Assault squad will have a lot to do with dealing with those guys. Raptors are still in play. Force Commander has his Artificer, no sign of the Thunderhammer yet. Got some Devastators too who are running away. Red team are going to take mid, I think. Tactical Marines still in play. Plague Marines on the field now for Fear. Pretty good generalist choice in tier 2. Can't really go wrong with some Plague Marines, even if there isn't a vehicle around. They can tank for so long. Decent capping unit. Slow stuff down. Tie things up. Generally shoot stuff and be a pain in the ass. Down goes the Sentinel as well. Chains of Torment from the Robes of Torment of the Sorcerer. Gives him a grenade icon, which might sound weird. Actually is pretty weird. But denotes that he has an AoE ability, I guess. Although plenty of other AoE root abilities that don't get a grenade icon, I think. Like Entangling Web and that kind of thing. Red team couldn't quite cap the mid there. Assault squad jumping in with their sergeant, who gets a nice shiny power sword and gives them the awesome merciless strike. Gonna fight some heretics here. Cornholio seems to like his shrine usage, so here's one in play, shooting out those doom bolts. Look at that. Seem to do a decent chunk of damage if they can hit a stationary target like this. If you worship them, they fire them out much quicker, I believe, as you see here. Raptors jump into Devastator fire though, right into suppression. Look at this. Some sneaky stormtroopers doing some decapping. They have their assault kit, so can chuck a grenade here. Rod of warp fire sends them flying. Where's the grenade? They did not throw it. CSM there to tie them up. Look at that. With Eternal War and Aspiring Champion, can do some work in melee when you activate Slaughter, especially. He's gone for Power Fist as the Force Commander. Strange choice from ziemniakozerca. You'd expect against Raptors and all of this infantry in general to see a Thunderhammer, but hey, Power Fists hurt a lot, and he has some future proofing against vehicles too. Power Fists certainly do hurt. 470 against 162 on the VPs. A lot of VPs to make up for the red team. Lehman Russ on the way for Trunix. Gets tier 3 in good time and gets a tank out. Now tanks for Imperial Guard literally are your tank. They're generally used as the spearhead of your army because they have a whole bunch of hit points and they don't really have much else in terms of durable units in tier 3, apart from the Bane Blade itself, of course, but that's such a big lumbering target, you generally don't want that at the front of your army. But Lehman Russes can do it with some repair support. Guardsmen with plasma guns, don't want to lose those guys. Getting away with 49 hit points. Tier 3 for ziemniakozerca. What does his red resource look like? Needs like 120 red to get some Terminators going. Lots of requisition for the two red team players. Floating it. I guess that means they've preserved their squads reasonably well here. Gotta go tier 3 surely, Fear. Dreadnought on the way for Cornholio. Expect a Mark of Corn one for some warp shenanigans, but there is a Power Fist Force Commander around. All kicking off in the south. Here's the Lehman Russ with the Executioner upgrade. It's like a rapid firing plasma cannon on your tank to make it even more badass. Dark Flames, nicely done by Cornholio, supporting his ally in the south here. So double plagues against this tank. Catachans might have to rush in and tie them up, which I think is what they tried to do there. The Lord Commissar to go down. Also, 414, 162. We might see some big fights kicking off in the mid-late game, so the Fist of Brockus would be good perhaps for Trunix. There's that demonic strength again from the Raptors. But it's a bad fight for them, outnumbered heavily. Dreadnought with its default autocannon so far. There's that Chains of Torment though. Those guys have to shoot that central mass to make it end early. It will end on its own though, of course. Happy to go into melee, the Sorcerer. What is the melee damage of this thing? 50. And some decent piercing DPS too at range. Can he get revived, the Force Commander? Stone Guard veterans in play. First Company Tactical Marines that can change their ammo on the fly to combat all targets. Pretty damn good ability to have. Can only have one per player though. Manticore on the way for Trunix. Some power being built in the mid by the red team. Blue team have a full farm in the north. And in the south, it's being stolen by some guardsmen. They have plasma guns to shoot down this heavy infantry and potentially super heavy infantry from the Terminators that could appear. Could get a great unclean one as well, which does count as super heavy infantry. So plasma guns do a great job there. Tier 3 now for Fear. Ticking down those VPs with a 2-to-1 here on the red team. And destroying his power too. Gives them XP. Gives them red. Denies power. Nothing wrong with that. Res me please, says Trunix. Here's that Manticore. Pretty far forward here. Powerful artillery unit. You have to target individual missiles for it each time. But look at the destruction. Almost wiped out these Noise Marines. Very, very close to doing so. And those Heretics. In fact, the Cataclysms might be able to finish them off if they force melee combat a little bit sooner. Might get the Noise Marines. They do. They'll now run into autocannons. Well, an autocannon, which is pretty bad news for Cataclysms. They tend to kind of bunch up as they move around. That was a very good Manticore strike. He seemed to take a while to realise what was going on. He's getting another Manticore. After that, why not? Vanguard veterans in play for ziemniakozerca. Not sure. I guess it gives them more power weapons to fight the Raptors. But maybe it would have gotten some Devastator plasma cannon up. Could still do so. Floating loads of power. Floating loads of requisition, I should say. The Chaos players are floating decent amounts of power here. Cornholio still in tier 2. That's demonic strength again against the Stone Guard veterans who have Vengeance Shrouds loaded in. Good versus vehicles and super heavy infantry. Plague Marines being shot up here. Leaving Russ with that repair support from the Guardsmen, of course. We do have Mark of Corn Dreadnought. Very fun to see this guy stomping around. Wow, those guys got burnt to a crisp. Might go down on retreat too. Yep. Not sure why Blood Rage was used there, because now this guy's going to go ballistic and chase him into base. In turn being chased by the Force Commander. Blood Rage wears off though. Is he going to fight it? There's Flesh over Steel to shut that guy down for a bit. Not going to last forever though. And here he brings the pain to some CSM. Bad fight for those guys to take, even with support. Should have tried to keep him in range, but the Chaos Dreadnought finishes the job. 281, 162. Cornholio, I'm not sure if he has the red to get this guy out of trouble with a warp. I always forget how much that is. Great unclean one on the way for Fear. Here's some Assault Terminators though. Start off with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. Absurd amount of health, as you see. Well over 5,000, and they can do some heavy melee damage too, as well as inspiring nearby units on kill to be even more badass and Space Marine like. There's another Manticore strike going on. 2-to-1 cat for blue. Brought some heavy hitters in and got some work done for sure. But the Limaras is in trouble. Manticore might have saved it there, getting a Plague Marines off the field. Chaos Order's kind of getting into the Dreadnought's way here. Where's the other Manticore? They're both over here. Okay. Dreadnought's chasing it. He must have the red to warp it out then, or he wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, he has more now. Terminators are there. Don't think he's going to be able to get this guy down. Not sure why those are rear armor hits. That was weird. But it is warped to safety by the Great Cornholio. If you don't know, that global ability warps the unit to your Chaos Sorcerer. So you do need a little bit of foresight to use it well. Get your Chaos Sorcerer in the right place. Here's the Great Unclean One, super unit for Chaos. And still one of the greatest models in an RTS game, I think. Look at this guy, look at the way he's animated as well. That spine kind of moves, the skin flapping around on the back there. Amazing stuff. Guy's pretty good. Can worship him since he is a demon, giving him some awesome health regen and energy regen, which powers his pretty effective abilities. Good in combat too, dealing passive damage to nearby enemies, and has that massive demonic cleaver thing. I'm sure that has a specific name, which someone will tell you in the comments. Imaras is back in play, fully repaired. Predator tank on the way. That's that Nurgle Vomit, one of his nasty abilities. Now doing some damage. Another Manticore strike comes in. They are struggling to deal with those. The red team, 281 to 87, 2-1 cap for blue. Plasma guns now to help against the marauding Great Unclean One. Ouch. Wow. Let the Galaxy burn into a cloud of flies from the Great Unclean One. That was a nasty combo. Stormtroopers in place, deal with the assault kit. Lord Commissar has no war gear whatsoever. Great Unclean One now on the way for Cornholio. And he can support them well, much like the Markov Khorne Dreadnought. He can walk them out of trouble. This is the time to move your Chaos Dreadnought away. Once you use the Chains of Torment. He's, I'm not sure what he's up to. Oh, he's still fighting, okay. Blood Rage goes up. Great Unclean One doing some work. The Terminators, of course, cannot retreat out of that. So they are literally stuck, and they don't have ranged weapons either. They can get Lightning Claws, and we may well see them. Especially when the second Great Unclean One hits the field. It's going to be a vital time for those double Manticores to really, really pull their weight and get some kills here. Because Manticores are great, but you do give up a field presence with them. You don't have stuff out there fighting constantly when you have Manticores. You have these big bursts of damage every minute or so, and if they don't hit, then they're not really paying for themselves, are they? Here is Great Cornholio's Great Unclean One. Unfortunately, they are not team coloured, or rather army scheme coloured anyway, so we won't be able to tell them apart. Manticore for the Great Unclean One. Dodged like a pro. Cornholio asking if a warp is requested, and there it is. Your friendly neighbourhood Chaos Sorcerer gets out of trouble. 226 to 79 on the VPs, and a 2-1 for red. They are holding on, more than holding on. They are looking pretty strong in the middle here. Not sure what this tank is up to. Needs to be so careful. They're trying to deal with this shrine here. I think they might have larger problems in their face. Assault squad trying to jump away and in retreat. Wow, rocket run from Trunix. That's the global nuke for the Imperial Guard. Did some work there, but still some work to do. Hadatron's taking so much damage from these Chaos Terminators with their autocannon, I should say. Cornholio still has tons of resources too. Getting a Chaos Predator now. Terminators teleporting out of the Manticores. Manticores do a hell of a lot of damage to Terminators, since their shots generally will hit all of the models. If they hit any of them, they'll hit all of them. Baneblade on the way for Trunix. I would not have got a Baneblade going on this map. You're fighting two Great Unclean Ones and Terminators. Get some Kasrkin with plasmas. Raptors with melter guns here. Level 3. They can jump, throw melter, shoot you with melter guns. Really useful little unit in tier 3. Executioner is going to do well against these Terminators here. These Great Unclean Ones are scary though. Assault Terminators rooted by the Chains of Torment. Manticore gets at least 2 good missiles on the Great Unclean One there. He's now taking executioner shots. Soaking up so much damage are the Assault Terminators. Really need to look after these guys and support them out there. 155 to 79. 2-to-1 cap. Now a 1-to-1. The Lord Commissar's capping mid. Now has his Bionic Eye. Inspired Determination is pretty damn good, it turns out. Can be great on Catachans, which he still does have around. Down goes the what the hell was that? Was that the Curse Dreadnought? It was the Curse Dreadnought. 153 78. Was not warped to safety there for whatever reason. He might have just wanted to free up some population. Baneblade is up. We'll see how it does. I would not have got this. The central area can be really tight to maneuver, and they've got some strong melee units with great unclean ones, which are the bane of the Baneblade. Get some melee units in its face. It's so slow, it's so big. As soon as it turns around, it's getting tons of rear armor hits on its big backside. You've got Plague Marines too, and Melter Raptors. 153 55. Here's the Baneblade. Needs to be so careful with this thing. Where's the support for it? He lost all of his guardsmen. He's lost all of his guardsmen. That could be bad. There's that Demolisher Cannon doing work. I mean, it is a Baneblade. It's going to do some stuff. But can it live? Assault Terminators are subjugated and are hitting their own Predator tank. Pretty sure that's heresy, fellas. Okay, now they've come to their senses and are smacking on some Raptors. The tank goes down though. 153 51. Baneblade seriously dealing some damage right now. Can they get the VP though? Where is the Lord Commissar? Oh, he's over here. Fighting some heretics. Shrine goes down. Good push from the blue team. Despite the loss of the Predator. It's like they won the south side of the mid and lost the north side of the mid. But might be able to get the cap. The Force Command's going to get revived too, which might level the Lord Commissar. Or not. Foul Snare from the Great and Clean One pulls him away and damages him and stuns you. All of those things are not good for Lord Commissars. Vanguard veterans do have a power fist here and power weapons, of course, so they will certainly deal some damage to this Great and Clean One, but he's got so much hit points. Over 6,000. Some guardsmen on the way for Trunix. Here we go, they're going after the Great and Clean One. Cornholio can warp it out though, I think. Depends when he last used it. Mid is still uncapped here. Baneblade actually doing a really good job. Red team haven't really gone after it yet. Manticore's still sitting back there too. Constant threat. Much damage of these Great and Clean Ones soaked up. Stone-Guard veterans with the Vengeance Shrouds loaded in. That is a nasty vomit though. And a foul snare. Which that kind of flings you into the air. It's weird. Not sure why I didn't pull them there. Maybe because they retreated. 153 51. Some late tactical marines. Nope, cancelled by ziemniakozerca. Can be so hard to get to your opponent's natural VP on this map unless you can force them off and then you can run through and grab it, but trying to get sneaky caps can be very difficult. Down goes that Lehman Russ. Manticore's doing some work now, but they can't finish off the tank, and now the Baneblade is under threat. Can he even get through this gap here? Has he blocked in his own Baneblade? I think he has. He's put this repair bunker obviously to repair it, but it's also blocking it. Some bloodletters thrown into the mix from the Great Cornholio. It's a destroyed Baneblade, I think here. 147 to 51. Can he get through? Looks like maybe it could have, but it does go down anyway. And now they're just attacking the bunker, these fellas. Looking for a snack. Marching through. Blue team very much depleted here. It's the red team's game to lose. They really need to mess up to give the blue team a chance. I think they've got this now. Level 3 Catachans. Some kind of strange choices, I think, from Ziemnia to get that Power Fist and upgrade his Marines so much rather than getting some heavy hitters out a little bit earlier. A Dreadnought would have been great to scare off these Raptors a bit more, because they did some work, those Raptors of Cornholio. Level 3 now with Melters. I mean, there were double Plague Marines at one point, which will deter you from getting a vehicle out. But he seemed to just like kind of do nothing, wait for Terminators, which often works. But when you're against a Sorcerer who can do all sorts of crap to Terminators, I mean, just Robes of Torment and Terminal Subjugation alone really messes with Terminators, especially melee ones that don't have a ranged weapon. Can they even push here, the blue team? I mean, a double Manticore strike, maybe with a nuke thrown in. Nobody has a nuke though. Heavy weapon squad on the field with a las cannon. Yep, some more las cannons would have been good, because those Great and Clean ones were charging around without any snares, nothing really. Of course, Vanguard veterans lose their melter bomb when they get Vanguard status. Here we go. Is this the push? Shut down by a Chains of Torment and the Dark Flames thrown into 58 to 51. Look at this. Some sneaky Stormtroopers getting a decap. They did not appreciate that. There's a vomit on retreat path. Knocks them over. Might finish them off. Yes, they are finished off. A brave decap there. Some subjugated assault terminators now going to be run back into trouble. Blue team are running out of time to do something here. Not much they can do, I guess. Do you just throw everything in the mid here? Do you try and get around the back as they just did and get a decap? So hard to win this fight. Double Great Unclean ones there. One of them is pretty low, but still, that's such a tough fight. Assault Terminators really should have got claws. I'm not sure why they didn't at this point. And we've tore through a lot of this stuff a lot quicker with claws. Vanguard veterans now fighting the Chaos Lord, who's chasing down that Terminator. A nice kill to weak, still chasing him down. There's a special though. 31 to 51. There's a 2-to-1 for red. It should see them through here. Terminators do get away. Manticore strikes. Look how fast the Great and Clean one can get when he charges in. They lived. Still had over 300 hit points, in fact. Don't think the Chaos Lord would have even killed him if he caught him. 14 VPs to go. Blue team have lost this one. Level 3 and level 1 Manticores. Not sure that second one was warranted. They had that one really good strike, a couple of decent ones, but 2 Manticores, they really need to do the business if they come on the field. GG. And it was a GG. The Force Commander at the end was level 4 with that Power Fist and Artificer. We had a level 5 Commissar with the Bionic Eye, level 8 Chaos Lord, and a level 7 Sorcerer with all of that anti-Terminator stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.